Hi, I'm author Lucy McConnell.
And I'm author Erica Penrod.
And I'm your host, Shaylee Dymock. This is Angels Unscripted, where we talk all things angels. Did you know you have angels all around you? Join us as we talk books, friendship, romance, family, and more to discover the unscripted angels in your life. Hi, and welcome back to Angels Unscripted on this beautiful Monday morning. I'm Shaylee Dymock, your host, and of course, I'm here with Erica Penrod and Lucy McConnell. And yeah, it is cold weather. We're getting into winter. Very exciting.
It's the best
into the
time
holidays.
of year.
It's like the holidays.
Best time of year.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, when we release this, Thanksgiving will be a week or two after.
Like, I think it's this one
Close.
releases the week of Thanksgiving, doesn't it? Or is it the week before? It's
know.
close. We tried to time it because the theme is gratitude.
Yeah.
So
Whether or not, Thanksgiving is almost here.
yeah.
Yep.
When this podcast releases. So we are on episode 6, and we are talking about Evan, written by Erica Penrod. Lucy is showing it around the camera. It's a pretty red cover. This is probably one of my favorite covers. Christmas red.
I know. It's very traditional and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like it.
I
do
just
too.
love that color. And then we also have our coordinating gift set as well.
Flip that over. So wonderful. I love this.
So cute.
I love this. I am so excited to give a whole bunch of these away this year.
Of course, and you can find that on their website, angelinstitutebooks.com, and that's under gift sets.
Yeah.
And there's also a gift set bundle as well.
Oh,
Yes.
which is awesome. With all the
Yes.
books. Every book in the
It's
series.
like, let us do the work for you.
Yeah.
Like, we will
For real.
provide a great gift, and
Exactly.
we'll wrap it for you,
And we'll
put
ship
more
it
little
to
gifts
them.
on the outside of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us do the work.
And if you haven't thought of gifts yet, it is almost Thanksgiving, so
Wow.
it's time to start thinking about that.
Okay, I'm
For
just
sure.
going to ask, have you guys bought anything for Christmas yet? Yes?
No.
A couple things?
Well, because I have 2 grandsons.
Oh, easy then.
So
yeah, it's
I can't help myself. I'm like, oh, they might need that, and they might need that, and
Yeah.
so I've already started doing a little pile for
Awesome.
them. So yeah,
That's
Jealous.
awesome. Yeah,
I
I
have-
have not.
I have one present per kid.
good for
Yeah,
you.
I know. I do. I've had one for, but I bought them like
Friday.
6 months ago. So I have had them. I'm like, I have to keep reminding myself they're there, so Christmas doesn't go by and I forget
oh
to
my
get
Yes,
it.
I have found
Yes.
gifts that I have
Yeah.
like it tucked away.
Yes.
And forgot about.
Or
fine.
sometimes I've even tucked them in places that I'm like, I cannot find that. I don't know where it is, and
Yes.
I've had to go. Yeah, I've done that before too.
Fine. It's totally fine.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are way ahead of me, so. Okay, perfect. Well, let's jump into book 6, Evan. And Erica, why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit about it. The angel in this book as well.
Okay, well, this one is about Evan, who runs the local Christmas tree farm. Because, I mean, I know, this book
love
kind of
that
has,
setting.
well, I think that about every book. They're all
I
my
know.
favorite. All the angels are my favorite. But
Yeah.
so this one has a Christmas tree farm. It has the cute single mom and her adorable little child that
I
is
love
the
that.
love interest. So Evan is the person that's running his family's Christmas tree farm, which he doesn't really love, or he thinks he doesn't love. He's doing it out of obligation, out of respect for his parents, because they
Which
loved
are all
it.
good things.
Are all good things. They loved the farm, and he has another brother that's in the military,
Okay.
and he could see that his dad was slowing down, and he wanted to help them and give them some time together to travel and do the kind of things that, you know, as they approach retirement age. So he's just stepped up and said, I'll do it.
Wait. I'm getting a definite George vibe here with him
Yeah.
and his brother.
Yeah.
Right, with the business.
Some parallels
Yes,
there,
a
that's
little
for
bit
sure.
of that going on.
So, which is funny because Betty, the angel, I'll get into that, kind of reminds, like, Mary.
Oh, Mary.
That's who I kind of, like,
Patterned.
pictured,
Okay.
patterned a little bit.
I
So-
love Mary.
I know.
We should talk Mary for just a second. Can I interrupt
know.
the flow?
Yeah.
She is the unsung hero of that movie, of It's a
know.
Wonderful Life. She honestly, like, she is the rock
Yeah.
throughout everything.
I know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Does she have character development? I don't think so. She's like
She's
Belle
just-
in Beauty and the Beast.
she's
No
so
character
great.
development.
She's
She's already there.
She's already the archangel.
Yes, right? Mary's going
So-
straight up there.
So that is kind of like that. Betty wasn't quite there because she is. I don't know. It's interesting.
She's younger though, right?
Yes,
Betty's
she is younger. And out of all of my angels, she's the one that is most angel-like on earth. Like she was just a giving, loving mother and wife. And so that's just her personality, which is exactly what Evan needs. So Evan runs the family farm, and he does it because he loves his family, but it doesn't really bring him joy that he thinks he's missing out. That's what he thinks, that he should have taken another job, or kind of like George just thinks
the
that
wanderlust.
there's something more out there for him, and he's just stuck at the family farm. And so he meets Molly, who lives in Benton Falls, and I'm not really sure. I was thinking about this as I was writing, like, has their paths crossed before the story, or was it just, and I'm like, I grew up in a small town, so while I may have known about people, that didn't necessarily mean that I knew them really well.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where I took Molly and Evan. And so he goes into Violet's diner, which is in the town square at Benton Falls, for dinner, and that's where Molly works. Okay. And her little boy Chad is in there, and just really curious, and she's trying to work, and then he comes home from school, or comes there after school anyway, and Evan strikes up a conversation with him, kind of occupies him, and that's where Molly and him start talking. And anyway, so
that's adorable.
And how old is her boy?
Why would you ask me that?
He's young though, right?
Is
like
young.
elementary school.
He's like 6, somewhere.
So first-ish grade.
Maybe a little bit older, but elementary school for sure.
Yeah.
And so Evan invites them to come to the farm, and that's kind of where the story comes in. And that's
nice.
And that's where Betty makes her appearances at the farm.
Is at the farm.
Okay.
That's the first time she shows up.
So,
or pops in, I should say.
Yes. Yeah. So
Betty's such a sweet name.
I know. I love that name.
Yeah. So she's just full of love and kindness, and so for her to be working with this little family, they don't know they're a family yet, but it's the single mom and the little boy, and then Evan, and so Betty's the perfect angel for him.
That's awesome.
So remind me, because you said Betty's different. She doesn't do grand things.
She does little things.
She does little things that make a big difference.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Betty sounds like already like a very sweet lady, but how does her character grow? Like, are there experiences that bring growth for her as well?
I think for one thing, she misses her family, and so I think doing this work for Evan and for Molly and Chad helps heal some of that. Like, I'm assuming that we do long for our family when we
100%.
pass.
Yeah.
And so that she loved being a wife and mother, and so I think for her, helping Evan and Molly and Chad heals that and helps her grow that way. And she's just a kind person. A lot of the times in the epilogue, do we call it an epilogue? Yeah. When the other angels,
That's what we call it.
we don't know if you've heard that before, but we call it an epilogue. I couldn't remember if we started it with chapter 1 or epilogue. There's a lot of stuff going on up here. Let me just tell you this.
With a prologue. We end it with an epilogue.
Okay, yes. That's what we're really... Yeah.
I know. This is the day.
Beginning
Let me just say.
and ending.
Yes. Yep.
Authors
Okay.
on a Tuesday.
Yes. Authors Unscripted. There we go.
That's what it is.
Yes. So in the prologue, when they're in the classroom, a lot of the angels, the conversations that they have, they refer to Betty, like they just know that she's going somewhere because she's just so great and kind, and they're always like, oh, you're just going to help somebody, places, and you're just going to offer all this love, and so the other angels know that's just who she is. So
Yeah.
She probably doesn't have as much growth.
She doesn't have as far to go
As the other angels.
Yeah.
Right. She doesn't need it. So.
Yeah.
She just uses
She
what
might
she
just
has.
need the experience, and then she's like, hey, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe she wasn't quite ready to move on so much.
That's what might have stuck her.
As she was kind of lingering, like holding on to that.
I just had a really interesting conversation talking with somebody about miracles and how when we resist the flow of life, and in Betty's case it would be the flow of death,
Right.
but when you resist the flow of life, you're blocking miracles from coming into your life. And so perhaps that was Betty's case.
So-
she was
Yeah,
resisting.
that's what I thought,
And so,
Interesting.
yeah.
I like that.
That's awesome. And I mean, on this theme of gratitude, how does that play into Evan as well?
So this is what's so great about gratitude. I feel like gratitude is a superpower. We've talked about this in other episodes, but gratitude, the more that I learn about gratitude, I think it is the game changer for everything.
It is. I'm going to just echo you and be
Yeah.
like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything in your life can be helped by being grateful.
Yes.
And so
Everything.
that is what is through Betty's simple acts and helping Evan look at what he has and be grateful. When he makes that switch, when his attitude changes, when he starts to look at the farm, that's still the same, it hasn't changed,
Right.
Yeah.
the work's still there,
Right.
everything, and he starts to see the farm through a new lens of gratitude. That's
awesome.
everything changes.
Everything
Yeah.
changes. And that mirrors real life 100%.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a new outlook this Christmas,
Exactly.
spend the Christmas being grateful. And
Yeah.
honestly, start today. Just go until Christmas, and you will see a difference in your life. But it is outside of you, but it's also inside of you. I don't know how to explain it because it ripples.
Yeah.
It's
And
contagious.
It's contagious,
Yes.
and it moves out from you and into everybody else. And it is a mindset change a lot of times. Like, I had to do the mindset change
Yeah.
and had to be more focused on gratitude instead of lacking. But yeah, it was, yes, I'm going to just echo you.
Well,
she is speaking truth.
And along with being grateful, as just making you feel better. But one thing I've been doing is, as I have struggled with like feeling depressed, or I get anxious, or which are things that I have really struggled with all of my life. When I stop now, as soon as I get that feeling, and I think everybody has kind of a different physical reaction. I get a knot in my stomach when something starts to stress me, or where I have anxiety. I kind of get this knot. And as soon as that happens, I stop and I say, I am so happy and grateful for, and I start listing things. And it releases it.
It releases it.
Like, it's such I don't know, it's just really changed my life this last 6 months to a year. I've been working on this, and gratitude is changing everything for me. So I'm happy that I got to write about gratitude.
I know, we kind of went
that's awesome.
like, okay, who's going to get to do which
Yeah.
one? And she was like, gratitude, it's mine.
Yeah.
Also, though, we get together to write, and we remove ourselves from all distractions, and we'll write for a couple hours a few times a week.
Yeah.
And it is inevitable that life will hit either one of us at some point in time. And there were times we'd come into these writing, I don't know what we call them, writing sprints, writing activity, whatever it is, writing moments, and we'd be like in the moment that happened that made us upset or whatever. We'd look at each other and we'd be like, hey, list, go. I am grateful for, and I would list something I'm grateful for, and then I'd be like, okay, your turn. And we'd go back and forth, or we'd just start listing gratitude, and the whole atmosphere in that conference room shifted, and then we were able to get in and write and be in a creative mindset instead of stuck in that moment. And so it allowed us to accomplish something greater than we had ever accomplished before in writing. And
I think that's awesome.
it was incredible. So yeah, the power of gratitude. It is a power. It's a superpower, she said.
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
Erica's
and I
talking truth.
Exactly. She always is.
Wait, could you tell my kids that?
I know.
Right. I think with the season changing as well, like, it gets dark early, and I think it's hard sometimes with you're not getting enough sun and vitamin D and things, especially where we live. I mean, we just had a blizzard earlier today, and it's dark outside.
Yeah.
At what time is it? Like 3 o'clock. So, But I think that that's something that we can all use is gratitude. And so thank you for bringing that light.
And I know that some people talk about the holidays can be stressful for them, and it brings on a lot of depression and people and anxiety. So try it.
Yeah.
Like
this year,
this is so
make this
great.
year your gratitude year.
Yeah. And if you go back to what we talked about in the previous podcast about listing the 10 things you're grateful for every single day, and then the 3 people send love to. Yeah. If you do that every single day, especially through the holiday season, I think it would change everything.
Yep.
For sure. And I'm going to definitely start doing that.
I know. Awesome. Do you want a notebook? I have several.
Well, I have actually my sister. Oh, I don't know what the challenge is called, but it's like this little blue book. And it's 5 things you're grateful for, your superpower, 3 affirmations, and then your to-do list for the day.
Yeah.
And I used to do that all the time, and I just stopped. Yeah. And I've honestly been thinking the past few days, and I had an ecclesiastic leader as well say, just sit in your car and think of things you're grateful for every day or once a week. Or whenever you have time to do that. And I think that, I'm going to pull that book out.
Well, it sounds so simple, and we're like, oh yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. And then, like you said, you can do it for a little while, and then you get out of the habit. But if you stick with it long enough, you'll start. And also just be aware of the feelings in your body as you do it. Yeah. It is... it lifts your spirits, but physically, it also feels so much better. You feel lighter.
I thought I'd be listing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
I was ridiculous. No. It is completely different things that come up. And oh my gosh, what had happened? I can't remember what had happened. But it was my gratitudes the next day. It was something, and I don't even remember the bad thing that happened. But my gratitudes the next day were so different because I had been through that.
Right.
Then the next day it was like, I am grateful my children love each other so much. I'm grateful they pull together in a crisis. I am grateful that they, those kinds of gratitudes. But it was also just this big mama heart moment of seeing my kids pull together and love on each other when they needed it, that I was like, this is what I'm grateful for. And it went for weeks that I was so grateful for those things.
Just much deeper.
Yeah, it was a much deeper form of gratitude. Having been through, and that's the opposition, right? Opposition in all things, having been through that. But if I hadn't had the gratitude to write down, and I hadn't been in that mindset, where would my mind have been?
Right.
On the tragedy the whole time. And so it was a whole different experience of gratitude. That's awesome. So it works even in those hard times. So
right. And I think we all need to be reminded of gratitude this Christmas. And so tell us where to find Evan.
Well, Evan is on our website, angelinstitutebooks.com, and it's also on Amazon if you prefer. You can get a bundle on our website and get it for 40% off and get all of them. Or if you just want to buy one book, you're welcome to do that. And you can also find them on Amazon and any other place books are sold.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah. So
that's awesome. And if you've listened to previous episodes, these are great things. And I think we each need a reminder of every little thing. We've talked about giving, we've talked about harmony with our fellow man, just so many good reminders that I think we need this Christmas.
Yeah. And I'm not perfect at any of them. That's the striving that makes my life better.
I don't think any of us are perfect.
No,
every single one.
I'm just saying it's the trying that makes my life better.
Yeah. Yes,
if I wasn't trying at these things, I think I'd be much worse off. So it's the trying that makes life better for me.
Because sometimes I'm more like the Grinch than grateful.
Sometimes your heart needs to grow.
I still have those moments. Yes. But it's the trying.
Or the Scrooge. Yeah.
Well, I know one thing I'm grateful for. Snow. It started snowing again.
Yay.
If you look outside.
Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah. It's pretty. So Lucy actually has our angel story, and we did something different this week. Yeah. We actually took it out of a book. So Lucy, will you share this?
Yeah, I just want to say that I love reading personal accounts of miracles. I love reading personal accounts of beautiful things that have happened to people, angel interactions, all the things. And so I grabbed this one. It's called Santa Miracles. They're 50 True Stories. And I was reading through it. Yeah, and I was thinking about our podcast today because it's on gratitude. And so Anyway, we'll jump into this. It says, "It is often said that no good deed goes unnoticed. But in the case of Ted Horn, waiter, cook, and the owner of Dixie Diner, he had no idea that a simple act of kindness displayed towards a customer in need would be the inspiration for none other than Santa himself." Larry Stewart worked as a door-to-door salesman in the small town of Bruce, Mississippi. When the company went out of business, Larry soon found himself out of money. He was so broke that he went for days without having enough money to even eat. Cold, desperate, and hungry, Larry wandered into Ted Horn's diner and ordered himself a big breakfast, not disclosing that he didn't have the money to pay for it. When the time came for the bill to be presented, Larry went to reach for his wallet, then pretended to discover that it was missing. Conducting a search of all possible pockets where his wallet might have been, quote, misplaced, Larry played out his little drama of how embarrassed he was that he should find himself in such an awkward situation. Ted Horn, the diner owner, walked over to the stool where Larry was sitting and bent down to pick something up off the floor. Ted straightened back up with money in hand, looked Larry straight in the eyes, and with no hint that he was onto the missing wallet scheme, he placed a $20 bill on top of the table in front of him, saying, "Son, you must have dropped this." That $20 bill was a fortune to Larry. As he paid for his breakfast, left a tip, said a silent prayer of thanks, and then he said a silent prayer of thanks. As he walked out of that diner, he pushed his car to a gas station and was able to buy enough gas to get out of town. While driving, Larry became aware of his thoughts drifting back to the diner in an attempt to reconstruct his, quote, lucky break. In an aha moment, he realized that nobody else in the diner had dropped that $20 bill. It must have been a deliberate act out of kindness and graciousness of the Dixie Diner owner. Right there and then, Larry promised himself that if the Lord would ever put him in the position to help others in such a manner, he would do it. And indeed, he did. Over the years, Larry was to settle in the Lee Summit, Missouri area, marry, have a family, and work his way into a major change of fortune. Eventually, he would become a millionaire. Years later, Stewart began giving cash to the needy, but remembered the way his dignity was spared. He gave birth to the idea of being a secret Santa, disguising himself in the full Santa Claus outfit and handing out money to people who appeared to be in need, whether he found them in the laundromat, on the street, or in the shelter. Feeling the joy, warmth, and glow deep in his heart and his soul, Larry knew this would be how he would fulfill his promise. It would be his mission to be a secret Santa. His wishing to remain anonymous as Secret Santa would affect the lives of thousands upon thousands of people in need, launching what was to become the largest worldwide Secret Santa movement and foundation. But he'd never forgot the random act of kindness that started it all. And as he retraced and tracked down Horn, the owner of the diner, almost 30 years after their first meeting, he found him in I don't know the name of that town. He was in Mississippi. And he handed the 88-year-old Ted Horn an envelope containing $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's such a special
Isn't
story.
that sweet? To be so grateful, it changes your
And
life.
it's contagious.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah.
So,
That
but
reminds me
yeah.
of one of the Christmas books I read every year, and it's the same thing. Like somebody did something when they were in need, and it just spread into this big movement. And I think that, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are we doing on social media? We're starting a Give an Angel movement, and so I think that's so special. And I think that person was an angel in his life.
For sure. And we can be angels in other people's lives. Yep.
To completely change somebody's life. And sometimes it doesn't always completely change somebody's life, but it's just so special to people.
I think
it's important.
the guy that owned the diner thought, if I can just feed this guy for a couple days, that's what that's all he was looking to do, was just make this guy's life a little bit easier, And he had to know what happened in the town. He had to know the company shut down. Like, he had to know things. So, yeah.
But I
it's
think
so sweet.
that's the point, is we can't usually completely change somebody's life. We can't make them choose different choices, make different choices. We can't take their agency.
No.
But we can do those little tiny things to let them feel loved or cared for, or know that somebody's thinking about them, and we just don't know what that will do.
Yeah. And
So
how that will play out.
Yeah. And if you want to join on our social media trend, it's going to be #GiveAnAngel. And it's anonymous giving to somebody.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in need, but somebody who needs comfort, and somebody who just Yeah.
Spreading Christmas.
Exactly.
Just spreading
Spreading joy.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Spread joy.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I think that's where we'll have to end. If you want to share your angel stories with us, join everyone else. We've gotten a lot of angel stories.
It has just been such a wonderful thing. I'm so grateful to everybody who has shared with us. That is just such a beautiful act. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we've already had people reaching out who have been inspired by your stories. And if you feel like the need to share a story that you have, our email is angelinstitutestories@gmail.com. So send in your angel stories. And you can also find us on TikTok and Instagram at Angels Unscripted. So join us there. And next week, we are talking about self-worth. So don't miss that. And don't forget to like and follow us on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for tuning in this Monday and have a great week. And as always, we will
See you next Monday.